Coming up on Carolina News, boost of protection. Most people nationwide are becoming eligible for the vaccine booster shots. However, who is eligible and when depends on your original vaccine dose.
That will help to decrease the number of new cases we're seeing in South Carolina and nationally.
Holiday disaster.
Christmas is going to be a disaster.
A truck driver shortage could affect your holiday plans. See what local businesses are encouraging you to do to stay ahead.
A celebration of love. Find out why a monthly Pride brunch at Woody's on Main looked a little bit different this past weekend.
Saw people that were straight, gay, lesbian, it didn't matter.
Carolina News starts now.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Brittany Parks.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dalton Mixon. Our top story today, millions just became eligible for COVID-19 booster shots. However, there are different eligibilities for those that received either Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. With new findings from the CDC, the availability for you to get a booster shot yourself has greatly increased. Our reporter Allie McCraw is live at DHEC with more on the story. Allie?
That's right, Dalton. The CDC is now allowing people the choice to choose a different brand vaccine for their booster than their original shot. What this means is that people are not limited to their original vaccine choice, as they can now mix and match booster shots.
But for one reason or other, and there may be different circumstances for people, availability, or just different personal choices, you can, as we say, mix and match.
However, who is eligible and when depends on your original vaccine dose. If you received the Moderna or Pfizer shots first, you are now eligible if your last dose was at least 6 months ago and you're 65 or older. You also qualify if you're a young adult with health conditions or live or work in conditions that put you at a higher risk of infection. If you received Johnson & Johnson, you are now eligible as long as you received the shot at least 2 months ago, as long as you were 18 and up. The Center for Disease Control does not recommend that people switch, but does leave the option open. In some cases, such as people who originally got Johnson & Johnson, evidence shows that mixing vaccines appeared to offer a stronger boost. Mixing shots also grants flexibility in situations where only one type of booster can be offered, as well as gives people who may be at risk of a rare side effect linked to one vaccine the option to change course. In terms of what this new availability to mix shots will do locally, DHEC has high hopes for what this will do to help curb the spread.
I do hope to see those vaccine rates increase with these new findings, and that will help to decrease the number of new cases we're seeing in South Carolina and nationally.
Even with new increased availability, 65 million Americans still remain unvaccinated against COVID-19. DHEC officials say that these new findings will have an impact on decreasing these numbers locally to help curb the spread. Live from South Carolina DHEC, I'm Allie McCraw. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Allie. COVID numbers continue to drop in South Carolina. DHEC reported 562 new COVID cases today, compared to over 1,000 new cases on Friday. They also reported 2 new deaths and a positivity rate at 4.6%, also down from the last report.
It looks like we finally have some cooler temperatures headed our way this week in the Palmetto State. Let's see what Olivia has for our weather right now at the greenhouse. Olivia?
Thanks, guys. It's currently 80 degrees and a little bit rainy here in Columbia. We're going to be seeing great weather as we continue throughout the week. Some of those cooler temperatures are going to be rolling in the early mornings and the late evenings as well. And in the thick of the day, we're going to have some of those warmer temperatures. I'll have all that and more for the forecast later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Olivia. The South Carolina State Fair wrapped up its 12-day event on Sunday. Nearly 350,000 tickets were sold this year at the fair, according to fair officials. That's not as many as 2019, the last time the fair was held in person due to COVID-19. The cost of gas continues to rise. Prices at the pump are more than $1 per gallon more than a year ago across the country. Collectively, motorists are spending $480 million more per day on gas compared to a year ago. This is after gas prices reached a 7-year high earlier this month. Experts say the price of crude oil is partly to blame and driven by increased demand and lower supply. According to AAA, the current cost of gas in South Carolina is $3.15.
Gas prices aren't the only thing increasing in South Carolina. Consumers are paying more at grocery stores, retail stores, and toy stores. I looked into the supply chain crisis and how it will affect your holiday season.
Christmas is going to be a disaster.
Bob Morgan, the president of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, says a nationwide truck driver shortage combined with more demand is adding pressure to an already struggling system.
Not only is there a higher demand for goods and services, more of us are ordering online, waiting for that home delivery. And so we don't have enough trucks, we don't have enough chassis, we don't have enough truck drivers to handle the demand.
According to the American Trucking Association, the industry is down some 80,000 drivers. That's an all-time high. Rick Todd, the president of South Carolina Trucking Association, says this is due to lack of people joining the industry.
Burning out or changing out different careers, and there's not enough folks entering the field to fill the seats. So when you get a shortage, then you create and really feel and see problems like what we're experiencing today.
The shortage of drivers is leading local businesses paying 4 to 5 times higher for shipping cost. Paige Watson, owner of Learning Express Toys in Lexington, says smaller stores just can't afford the cost.
Used to cost, say, $2,000. Now, just for the container may cost $16,000. So it's like 5 to 8 times as expensive.
Learning Express is filled to the brim with toys, but most they won't be able to reorder once they are sold out.
So we've been warned by vendors that we may or may not be able to reorder and get something back in by the end of the year.
It's mid-October, but outside Learning Express sits a sign that says, "Start holiday shopping now," to make sure you get everything you need.
If you see it and your kid wants it and it's there now, I would get it now.
With the holiday season around the corner, if you procrastinate shopping, this season will be rough for you.
The days of showing up on Christmas Eve with a list of 15 or 20 items to buy at one single mall and expecting to find them, I think is a little naive.
While local businesses and shoppers face serious problems this holiday season, toy manufacturer Mattel thinks they have cracked the supply chain code. Mattel says they are ready for the holiday season rush despite the supply chain crisis. The CEO of Mattel said the company exceeded profit expectations for the third quarter and should be able to meet most of the consumer demand for popular brands like Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, and Barbie. To prepare, Mattel has invested more into their product lines and secured access to additional ports.
A program in Charleston that helps newly freed high-risk South Carolina inmates will be unveiled Wednesday in Columbia. The re-entry program for men, which has been hailed a success during the 6 years it's operated in Charleston, helps develop life skills. It is called the Turning Leaf Project. It targets inmates who may be at risk for not being able to make it in civilian life. The Turning Leaf program combines one-on-one counseling and group therapy, aiming to teach problem-solving skills and anger management and much more. Hundreds took to the Riverwalk this weekend to spread awareness about suicide prevention and mental health. More than 500 people showed up for the Out of the Darkness Walk. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention hosted the event, which aims to lower suicide rates across the country. Those who have struggled with mental health said the walk helped them feel supported.
It means everything that, even after everything that happened, that they're still here to support me and do this for mental health and everything. It's just amazing.
Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. according to the CDC. For resources on suicide prevention, you can visit afsp.org.
Coming up next on Carolina News.
The Woody on Main helped fundraise while celebrating love and community with a special drag-themed brunch following South Carolina's Pride Festival.